3 weeks before Pakistan's much anticipated tour of India in 1999, tension was at the highest point.
As they leave home, the Pakistani team know there are many Indians determined not to make them feel welcome. Their lives have even been threatened by some fanatics.
Shiv Sena supporters stormed the Feroz Shah Kotla Stadium, tearing up the pitch and destroying it in anger. They didn't want this match to happen, but that was just the beginning. Days later, a mob broke into BCCI headquarters in Mumbai, smashing everything inside, including the 1983 World Cup trophy. Now, if you ask me, why don't India-Pakistan have bilateral series nowadays? Well, you have your answer now.
The decision to send the team had been taken in spite of the fact there is tension, and as a gesture of goodwill. We want to see cricket being played between the two countries.
The first test was urgently moved to Chennai and the fear gripped everyone. Rumors of suicide squad and poisonous snake ready to strike spread like wildfire. Yes, people were going to send poisonous snake into the stadium for the players.
Bringing snakes and leaving it into the stadium. Now, having expressed that intention, we do not want to take any chance. You see, we have to be prepared for all kinds of contingencies.
They dispatched a search party to the village of Sapiera Basti to assemble an elite group of specialists equipped to deal with a very unlikely terrorist weapon. Snakes. Eccentric activists know no bounds, and one has threatened to release poisonous cobras into the Delhi Stadium. 16 of Sapiera Basti's finest charmers are now drafted in to swell the ranks of the Delhi police force.
But the true horror came when an auto-rickshaw driver, Palani, set himself on fire in protest against Pakistan's presence. His tragic death was a brutal reminder just how intense the stake had become. As the match approached, Chennai police guarded Chepauk Stadium day and night, determined to prevent another act of sabotage. The India-Pakistan cricket rivalry isn't just a game, it's a battlefield of history, politics and deep-seated emotion. Nowadays, I don't think people even remember that India-Pakistan had a test match or even a bilateral series. It was December 12, 2007 when the last time India and Pakistan went into a war in a test match. But wait, do you know how all these things started? Like India-Pakistan kab shuru hua? If you know, you can skip this section and directly go to the match section in a timestamp. But hey, if you wanna enjoy this flow with me, stay here, let's go in the flow right away.
तो मैं आपसे कुछ मांग सकता हूँ?
लेकिन एक सेकेंड, अगर आपको वीडियो हिंदी या फिर इंग्लिश में चाहिए ना, तो डिस्क्रिप्शन और कमेंट सेक्शन में ना एक लिंक होगी कैप्सूल एक्स्ट्रा नाम की, ना जाओ सब्सक्राइब और क्या कहते हैं और लाल बटन होता है सब्सक्राइब का, क्या होता है वो, हाँ सब्सक्राइब कर देना। हाँ The cricketing rivalry between India and Pakistan began in 1947, right after the partition of British India. The newly formed nation met on a cricket field for the first time in 1952 and 53 when Pakistan toured India. This series marked the beginning of what would become one of the most intense rivalry in sports. Forget about the El Clasico and all. This is the rivalry, India-Pakistan. Pakistan's first test victory came in Lucknow during that tour. Throughout the 1950 and 1960, India and Pakistan rarely faced each other as political tension and wars kept them apart, but whenever they met, oh boy, the stakes were incredibly high. The 1970s saw a significant escalation in the rivalry. After 18 freaking long years, Pakistan toured India in 1978 and 79, and this series became iconic. Imran Khan emerged as world-class all-rounder, leading Pakistan to their first ever series win in India. The rivalry had truly begun to heat up, with both the teams pushing each other to their limits. The 1980s brought unforgettable clashes, especially at the neutral venue of Sharjah, where the rivalry intensified. By the 1990s, the India-Pakistan encounter had reached the new level of intensity, with both the teams now consistently among the best in the world. The 1992 World Cup match at Sydney was historic. It was the first time the two sides met in a World Cup, and India's victory set the tone for future encounter on this stage. Let me know in comment section who has watched that match live. The mid-1990s continued to deliver high-stake matches like the 1996 96 World Cup quarter-final in Bangalore. Anyone remembers that match where India triumphed in a match charged with emotion? New cricketing superstar like Sachin Tendulkar began to emerge, shaping the future of this legendary rivalry. But it wasn't just in ODIs that the competition flourished. Test matches were equally intense. The 1989 series in Pakistan, which marked the debut of Sachin Tendulkar and Waqar Younis, was tightly contested, with Pakistan edging out India in a hard-fought battle. By the late 1990s, the Indian-Pakistan rivalry had evolved into something much more than cricket. Every match was a matter of national pride, with players under immense pressure to deliver. The political backdrop was tense, with events like Kargil conflict adding fuel to the fire. The 1999 Test series was highly anticipated, not just for cricketing reasons but also because it carried significant diplomatic weight. It had become decades since the two teams had faced each other in a Test match, and the decision to resume cricketing ties was met with strong reaction from both the sides. In this charged atmosphere, the first Test was moved to Chennai after Shiv Sena's violent protest in Delhi. The stage was set for an epic clash at M.A. Chidambaram Stadium. Fans from both nations filled the stand, aware that this was more than just a game, it was a statement.
Wasim is the first to congratulate Sachin Tendulkar on being awarded a Padma Shri, Indians' version of the OBE.
Thank you very much.
Well played in New Zealand. बैलना got ठीक था. बस चलो. तो मिसेज है.
नहीं, she's
दिल्ली आ रही. हाँ, my wife might be coming to Delhi. She might be coming to Delhi. Yeah, we are like cousins here. चलो मुलाकात होती है.
Okay, see you.
Everyone is holding their breath in anticipation of the big day. Nothing must go wrong. Tomorrow, the fragile harmony of the subcontinent is on the line.
Gentlemen, are you ready?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, okay.
Well, Wasim Akram, Mohammad Azharuddin, the two captains, and Cameron Smith, the match referee. This is a huge moment, people.
Tails.
Points gone up.
As Pakistan won the toss and chose to bat first, the air was thick with anticipation. Player knew every delivery, every run, every wicket would be etched into the history of this storied rivalry.
Wasim, you won the toss. What have you decided?
Wicket looks quite flat. We decided to bat on this wicket. I think we have 5 bowlers. We try to put on a bit of score on board.
A test match after 10 years, the boys raring to go?
Yeah, the boys are ready to go, I believe, from either side, from Pakistan and from India, and we are looking forward for the whole series.
And your side for this test match?
We have one change. Mushi is not in the side. He's got a bad neck. Pulled his neck muscle, and we are playing. Nadeem Khan is playing. Afridi is playing. So we have youth and experience in the side. Let's see. My request to everyone is let's support the best team.
Tendulkar and yourself are the only two gentlemen who played against Pakistan in a test match. The other boys looking forward to it?
Yeah, the other boys are really looking forward to it, and I'm also very happy to play against Pakistan because it's been after a very long time that we have been playing test match cricket, and hopefully it will carry on for a long, long time to come.
As Pakistan opener Saeed Anwar and Shahid Afridi stepped onto the pitch, the weight of the occasion was evident. The crowd at Chepauk was electric, knowing that every run, every ball could turn the tide. Anwar, usually composed and methodical, found it hard to settle, while Afridi, true to his reputation, tried to unleash his usual fireworks. But this time, aggression led to his downfall. Afridi attempted to dominate Srinath early, but only managed to edge one to Ganguly. Pakistan was 32 for 1, the excitement palpable, and the pressure was starting to mount. Anwar followed Afridi soon after, trapped LBW by Srinath for 24. With Pakistan at 41 for 2 in 11th over, India's bowlers were taking full advantage of this early condition and the tension was building. Aijaz Ahmed and Inzamam ul Haq, both seasoned pros, attempted to rebuild Pakistan's inning, but Kumble's relentless leg spin proved too much. Kumble struck twice, removing both Inzamam and Aijaz LBW, and Pakistan was in deep trouble at 66 for 4. The inning was threatening to collapse under the weight of India's bowling attack. But just when it seemed like Pakistan might fold, Mohammad Yusuf and Moin Khan step up. Yusuf's steady 53 of 107 balls anchored the inning, while Moin Khan with more aggressive 60 of 170 ball provided the spark Pakistan desperately needed. Together they pulled that team out of the abyss. Even as wickets continued to tumble, with Kumble taking 6 for 70 and Srinath adding 3 for 63, Pakistan lower order fought back. Wasim Akram breezed 38 and Saqlain Mushtaq, determined stay at the crease, added crucial run with their partnership, pushing the total to 238. It wasn't a massive score, but in a match as tightly contested as this, it was enough to keep the game alive. India chase began with a cautious optimism. Sadagopan Ramesh and VPS Lakshman walk out of the middle, knowing that a solid start was crucial. Ramesh played aggressively, hitting 43 of just 41 balls, setting a fast tempo, but Wasim Akaram with his wealth of experience struck back, trapping Ramesh LBW to leave India at 67 for 1. Lakshman was next to go, undone by Akram's brilliance, leaving India at 72 for 2. With Rahul Dravid and Sachin Tendulkar now at the crease, the crowd was expecting a masterclass. Dravid played with a typical resilience, scoring 53 of 113 balls, but the game changed when Saqlain Mushtaq was introduced into the attack. Now remember here guys, Saqlain Mushtaq was the main obstacle for Team India in this test match. How? Let's see. Saqlain had already shown glimpses of his potential in Pakistan's first inning, but it was here in India's reply that he truly made his presence felt. Tendulkar, India's brightest star, one of the best batsmen India had ever produced, fell for a duck. Trapped by Saqlain's cunning off spin, the crowd fell silent. The battle that everyone anticipated had just begun. Bro, Saqlain was not just any other bowler, he was a master tactician, known for his ability to outthink batsmen. His dusra, a delivery that spun the opposite way of a conventional off break, was a still mystery to many people. And now that Sachin Tendulkar was gone, Saqlain was ready to torment the rest of Indian lineup. India's middle order crumbled under Saqlain's spell. Mohammad Azharuddin, the captain, couldn't resist the pressure, falling for 11. Saqlain 5-wicket haul combined with Akram's skill dismantled India's middle order. It was left to Sourav Ganguly fought valiantly with a gritty 54 and the lower order to scrap together a lead. India was ball out for 254, a slender lead of 16 runs. With a small lead to erase, Pakistan opener returned to the crease, determined to set a formidable strong target for Team India. This time Shahid Afridi was in mood to dominate. Oh boy, from the first ball, he took the attack to the Indian bowlers, playing the reckless abandon that left the crowd silent. Afridi's 141 of 191 ball was a masterclass in aggression. He smashed 21 boundaries and 3 freaking sixes, each shot a declaration of intent. The Indian bowler, who had looked so threatening earlier, struggled to contain him. Saeed Anwar couldn't offer much support, falling to Prasad for just 7 runs, but Afridi's onslaught kept the scoreboard ticking. As Afridi continued his boom on one side, the middle order chipped in with valuable contribution. Inzaman ul Haq added a fluent 51, while Mohammad Yusuf and Salim Malik made a quick contribution, scoring 26 and 32 respectively. Despite losing wickets at regular intervals, Pakistan's aggressive approach paid off, and they managed to post 286 runs in just 71.2 overs. Venkatesh Prasad was a standout bowler for India, taking 6 wickets for 33 runs, but it was clear that Pakistan had set India a challenging target of 271. And now the match was perfectly poised for the thrilling finish. Let's get into the 4th inning of India vs Pakistan match. The final inning was set to be a thrilling ride. India needed 271 runs to win a challenging target, especially against Pakistan's fierce bowling attack. The atmosphere was electric as Indian opener Sadangopan Ramesh and VPS Lakshman stepped onto the field. But hopes were quickly dashed. Waqar Yunis and Wasim Akram struck early, sending both Ramesh and Lakshman back to the pavilion. The scoreboard was 6 for 2 and India chase had already started on a shaky note. With the team in trouble, Rahul Dravid and Sachin Tendulkar, India's most reliable batsman, took the center stage. Dravid, known for his calm and steady approach, the wall of Team India, tried to hold the inning together, while Tendulkar knew that he had to deliver something special today. They began to build the inning, each run carefully crafted, but the pressure was immense. When Rahul Dravid fell for just 10 runs, the weight on Tendulkar's shoulder grew even heavier. The crowd held its breath as Mohammad Azharuddin, the captain of Team India, came to the crease. There was still hope, but Azhar couldn't stick around and his quick dismissal left India in trouble. Next came Sourav Ganguly, who was expected to provide some stability. However, Ganguly could only manage 2 runs before a controversial decision sent him back. Now carefully watch this video on your screen, okay? The catch that dismissed him was questionable.
Watch Moin Khan here. We've been talking about the excellent captaincy. The ball has bounced off that, it's gone off onto the ground, and then Moin Khan has taken that
with the ball appearing to touch the ground before being caught, but the umpire finger went up and Ganguly had to walk off. I have no idea. Still, I'm still researching. I don't know why this wicket was given. Moving forward, Nayan Mongia joined Tendulkar and together they form a crucial partnership. India needed a big partnership now. It was now or never. Mongia played a steady role, allowing Tendulkar to take charge. As they edged closer to the target, the tension in stadium was thick. All eyes were now on Tendulkar. He was India's last hope and he knew it. Facing Sakleen Mushtaq, the man who had troubled India all match, was no easy task. Sakleen's clever variation kept even the best batsman guessing, but Tendulkar was up to the challenge. He found the gaps, played with precision and kept the scoreboard ticking. With every boundary, the crowd's cheer grew louder, but with each dot ball, the tension only increased. As India inched closer to the target, needing just 17 runs with 4 wickets in hand, it felt like victory was within reach. Tendulkar batting on remarkable 136 seemed unstoppable. It was India and India only. But then came a moment that would change everything. Sakleen bowled a dusra and Tendulkar for once in his entire that inning misjudged it. The ball caught the edge of his bat and was caught by Wasim Akram. The crowd fell silent as Tendulkar walked back to the pavilion. India was now at 254 per 7. With Tendulkar gone, the pressure shifted to lower order. Anil Kumble and Sunil Joshi were at the crease and India still needed 17 runs to win. The crowd's anxiety was palpable and every single run was celebrated like a boundary, but Sakleen wasn't turned. Kumble edged one behind, Joshi was bowled out and Srinath's resistance didn't last long. The final wicket fell when Prasad was stumped, and just like that, Pakistan had won the Chennai test by 12 runs. The Pakistani players erupted in celebration.
The Pakistan team, the boys, they were wanted to win. They knew that we needed one wicket. We needed Sachin to get out and we can get them, and we did.
But the real story was the Chennai crowd. Despite the heart-wrenching loss, they stood up and applauded both the teams, recognizing the incredible battle they had just witnessed. This match wasn't just about runs and wickets. It was about heart, determination and raw emotion that makes cricket so special. और अगर आपको वीडियो हिंदी में देखने हो तो सब्सक्राइब करें स्टूडियो एक्स्ट्रा. Now watch how Virat Kohli conquer IPL. Now भाई देखो.
It's for somebody special. Yeah. Can't wait it out tonight.